We may need a code from Michael if we can't get on YouTube, but we'll give it a try.
Move closer.
Patty, just to let you know, you're not muted.
I got it. Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Monday, December 19th. Monday,
Patty,
April.
just to let you know, you're not muted.
Yes, she's muted now. Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Monday, December 19th. Monday,
Patty,
April.
just to let you know, you're not muted.
Yes, she's muted now. Okay, good evening. Okay, good evening. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Monday, April 19th, 2020 Finance Committee meeting, Council as a whole. At this point, could we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Monday, April 19th, 2020 Finance Committee meeting, Council as a whole. At this point, could we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council as a whole. At this point, could you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic. Could the clerk please call the roll?
Councilman Gary Donovan.
Councilman Gary Donovan, Councilman at Large, present.
Councilwoman Colleen O'Connor.
Councilwoman Colleen O'Connor, Council at Large Chair.
Councilwoman Bridget Hosky.
Councilwoman Bridget Hosky, 1st District, present.
Councilman William X. Conlon.
Councilman William X. Conlon, 2nd District, present.
Councilwoman Elizabeth Johnston.
Councilwoman Liz Johnston, 3rd District, present.
Councilman Mitch Galagnano, I believe he's absent. Councilwoman Robin Hamilton.
Councilwoman Robin Hamilton, 5th District, present.
Councilman Peter Massaro, I believe is absent. Councilwoman Trenae McGee.
Councilwoman Trenae McGee, 7th District, present.
Councilwoman Crystal Finelli.
Councilwoman Crystal Finelli, 8th District, present.
Councilman Robert Bruno.
Councilman Robert Bruno, 9th District, present.
Councilman Barry Lee Cohen.
Councilman Barry Lee Cohen, 10th District, present.
And Chairman Ronald Quagliani.
Council at Large, Ron Quagliani, present. Stacey, if you could please read the call of tonight's meeting.
The West Haven City Council Finance Committee Council as a whole will conduct budget meetings on Mayor Nancy R. Rossi's recommended budget for fiscal year 2021-2022 as listed below. Meetings will take place remotely via web conferencing. Departments will receive email instructions on logging into meetings.
And tonight will be 6 p.m. City Clerk, 6:30 p.m. Registrar of Voters, 7 o'clock Assessor, 7:15 Tax Office, 7:30 the Health Department, and 8 o'clock Human Resources / Personnel. At this point, I'll turn the meeting over to the Finance Chair, Councilwoman Hosky.
Thank you, Chairman, so much. So we have with us Patty from the clerk's office. Patty, who do you have with you? You're muted, Patty. Patty, you're muted. You're still muted. Ron, can you unmute her? Oh, there you go.
Okay. Okay, I have Lori Moran here. She does our land records.
Hi.
Sharon Recchia, who has deep knowledge of every part of this office. She's been here for, I think, 27 years. So hello. She's huge for us. And Jasmine does all our vitals, and she is not here with us, but in spirit she is.
Perfect. So if you just want to go over the budget or anything you want to tell us, and then at the end, the council will ask you some questions. It's 6:10 right now, so we'll probably go to about 6:40 so that we just respect everybody's time.
Okay.
So
I just want to make a comment about, you know, the challenging year we had and how everyone at City Hall has come together. We've all helped each other. I want to thank the mayor for her bringing us to financial stability and her leadership. I want to thank all of you on the council for all the work you put in, especially at budget time. I've been watching a lot of the meetings, and, you know, I appreciate all the thoughtful and good questions you've asked everybody. Also, I just have to mention, you know, all the people that step up, like checking us in the morning, Bill and Chloe and Helen, and our maintenance people that go beyond helping us clean and keeping us safe. And, you know, every day they lift this 40-pound plexiglass into our window for us, and they have never complained about it. And the finance department, they're always there to help us. They process all the reports. They help us with the budget. You know, I don't want to start naming people, you'll forget them, but it's just, you know, the one thing I learned about this office is how we depend on a lot of other departments, you know, for us to succeed. And I think we had a good year. We, you know, we had 2 big elections that we got through. We brought in extra revenue. We had a big, you know, winter and spring of land sales. Lori has, you know, been above and beyond that. And, you know, everybody has really been working really, really hard here.
Can you tell us, you want to break down the revenue that you were speaking of? Maybe tell us what you've done in the last year and what the projection is?
Well, you know what, I could, you know, they don't give us all our revenue. We just, you know, we do process reports every month, and it's up about, I think, 400,000.
When you say 400,000, are you saying for this fiscal year?
Yeah.
From July 1st to 400,000. Wow. Do you know where you ended last year above what you were above the projection?
Well, from July to July.
Okay. I mean, yeah, 2020.
Yeah, we're gonna get that for you. July to, yeah, I have that. Well, I've been printing it out.
Yeah.
Frank, do you know what it is? Or do you have that handy?
I don't have the information in front of me.
All right, we're printing it out right now.
Do you know, while you do that, do you know where you are projected to end the year? So I know you're at 400,000 more than you thought. Frank, do we have a projection or where she might end, where the office might end over what we had thought?
We do. Let me try to connect to the network, and I'll get that information for you.
Okay. Patty, if somebody else is working on that, we can just go to somebody else, and then you can just follow up with the questions I have.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions for Patty to fill in why they figure? Yeah, Councilman Bruno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Patty, kudos to you and your staff on working as hard as you did through this pandemic that we've all been through. That's nice job for you and your staff. In this budget, electronic filing, is there any money in this budget, or is there any, potentially looking forward on how we're going to get that office electronically up to speed, if you would? Is there any money in that budget for that?
Well, last meeting you did transfer the 20,000, so that brings us up about 20 years. We're 40 years behind, so that will bring us up to 19. What year are we brought up to now?
Right, so that
they're gonna scan about 100,000 records.
Right, so that was my question, right? So that's gonna get you up to, let's say, year 19 versus where we have it.
What did we say, 95?
1995.
So that 20 grand is getting you up to 1995?
Yeah, we'd like to go back to 1980.
Okay, all right, I understand that. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. And Madam Chair, can I ask one more question? Are we saying that we're up?
What was last year?
Patty, are we up 400 grand from last year? Is that what we're up? A total of 400 grand? 400,000, I should say?
Yeah, well, we're gonna run it. We're running another report right now.
Okay.
Because I was doing December to December when I got elected.
Is that what you'd like me to do?
No, I think we should go July to July.
So that one's July to July. That's
so right from July last year to July this year.
Right. Okay. So we want to do July 1st of 2020 to 4/19 of 2021.
Okay.
We want to do the fiscal year.
Thank you, Madam.
Sharon, get July 1st, 2020 to now. To now. All right. So last July 1st, 2019 to 2020, it was 2,697,762.
Councilman Bruno, I don't want to speak over your question, but can I just, Patty, when you say that, I think, and Councilman Bruno, tell me if I'm wrong, we are looking for what was projected for your office to make and what you actually brought in.
All right, listen, this is from July 1st, 2019 to July 1st, 2020. We brought in 2,697,762. From July 1st, 2020 to now, we bought in 2,949,346.
Okay, so you brought in 400,000 more already to date.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
We had a big day today.
Yeah. Thank you, Patty.
So, Chairman Quagliani.
Thank you. And let me first say, Patty, again, I echo, good job by all in that office under some crazy circumstances. That goes for everybody in City Hall. But I would be one that would like to go back to 1980 as well. So if you can't get your records there, I'm gonna go back to 1980. Hey, Frank, on page 10, it says record legal instrument fees. Is that the number that Patty's talking about? I don't know if Frank is here.
Ron, I think he went to do something with electronics. He said he had to go get on the internet.
Oh yeah, he was going to look up a report himself.
Then I'll defer. You could come back to me, Chair, if you'd like.
Okay. Councilwoman Hamilton?
Hi, Patty.
Hi, Robin.
Thank you. Yeah, it's okay. Thank you for all that you and your employees do in the office. While we're talking about electronic filing, which is great to get us a little bit more current, can you just give us a whole update on where you are now from when the last time we spoke?
Yes. Well, we're up right now until 1990, right? 1995?
No, we're going to be up with the money that we just got. We're going to be to 1995.
Yeah, he hasn't finished. He has to come in and scan. So that will be up to 1995. Also, he's scanning a lot of maps. So when people need a map to their property, they could go on and now print out a map. If you ever came in here and looked for a map, it's like a secret crazy thing to find the map. So we're trying to get that all straightened out.
He already started
yeah, he did
on the project.
Right.
Okay. So, and when you first started it, you started off with grant monies, right?
Right.
Can you reapply for that, or was that just a one-time?
Yes, I am going to reapply. I already did actually. For that.
Great. So then he'll just stay on until.
Right.
He's done.
I got to tell you, to work with him he's amazing. He always answers the phone. If he doesn't answer, he'll answer within like 5-10 minutes. He's always, he's so available. He really does a great job, Matt.
This is during
great. The other thing I had, if I could.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
Councilman Hosky, if
so
I can ask.
This is just 1 month?
1 year. 1 year. From the minute we closed the doors, 316 to this year, 316, 3,000,003.
All right. So yeah, Sharon, just from March, when the pandemic started, March 16, 2020 to March 16, 2021, we brought in $3,353,000.
Sales were off the chart. Sales were off the chart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still.
Well, how come it's not in here that much?
That's a different date that Sharon queued up. Yeah, this was strictly pandemic. You know, since we've been closed, that's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
So I just what I'd like to do, Patty, and with your staff, I think that we're kind of a little bit crazy, and Frank, maybe you can just help us narrow this down, help us figure it out. I think initially what I was looking for, as well as Councilman Bruno, is that we know the clerk's office has been, what my daughter would say, killing it. Like they've, been just like, wow, the revenue that they've been generating, it appears to be off the charts, something that we did not expect. And I am looking to kind of give them a moment in the sun to stand in front of the citizens who are watching this or who are going to watch it and let them know just the amount of work that they've been doing. It is my understanding that they have generated in the hundreds of thousands in more revenue than what the city expected them to do. Can we confirm or deny that? Because I know there's an expectation of what they will bring in, and then there's what they delivered, right? It's what we thought they were going to give us or back to the city, and then there's really what they did. Is there any way to figure out what that number is? Is it the 400,000? Because when you say 3 million during a pandemic, I'm shocked. Like that seems like a lot of money to me.
March 16th of 2020 when it started. Yeah. March 16th of this year. Right. Well, state conveyance is what? You got to deduct that.
Maybe Frank is still working on it. So Robin, did you want to ask your other question? I know it was that Patty's going to apply for the grant.
Yeah, so she said, yeah. So she said she confirmed that they will be applying for the grant, and that's a great thing. Another thing I had, COVID monies. Patty, are you able to apply, or were you able to apply just for your office for COVID money?
We sent in our, our request to Frank because, we were closed. We had to catch up. We had some overtime. We had to catch up. And then we had 2 people get the COVID. So, we got really behind. So I asked that the overtime would be, paid through COVID.
Okay. Thank you. And keep up the good work. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
This is 9 months. This is a full year.
Frank, do you have the answer to that question?
I do.
Oh,
okay,
excellent.
So,
okay. Patty, if you want to go on mute real quick, because there's like a back feed, so Frank can just explain exactly what your office has done.
Oh, go on mute. Okay.
So right now we're projecting the cost for the city clerk's office to be in line with budget. We have been moving some of the COVID related costs out of the individual departments into the account that was set up for that. That is an ongoing process. So an entry was made in February to move some money through February. If I look at, because that's the last month that's been closed, March, they're closing now. If I look at year-to-date February, this year versus last year for revenues attributed to the city clerk's office, last year they brought in $504,000. This year, $635,000. So, roughly $130,000 more this year than last year for the same time period.
Councilman Bruno?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So Frank, are we saying that was with COVID money in there? I missed that, I'm sorry.
Those were the revenues, sir. So $500,000 last year versus $635,000 this year. The cost side, we're expecting to be on budget.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so they're like 200,000 more than where they were expected to be, I guess. I don't know. Okay, I get it. Chairman Quagliani?
Yeah, just to follow up on my earlier question. So I would think that a lot of these revenues are passed through to the state, right? That's where that $2 million figure comes. So much of that is collected by the city clerk, some stays local, and some goes to the state. Frank, in the revenue projections for FY22 for recording of legal instrument fees, there's a 75% increase. Is that due to a new fee that's taking place or a fee increase?
That's due to the new conveyance number that was approved by the council.
So based on that number, you estimate that it'll be about 75%
correct
from this year.
Correct.
Good. All right. Thank you.
And you're correct, Ron, that the total value of the revenues brought in, the bulk of that does go to the state. The numbers that I was giving are purely the revenues that stay with the city. Right. So, if our piece of it was up by $130,000, it's a significant increase year over year for the entire amount.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Frank. Councilman Cohen, I know you had your hand up. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Patty and team, thank you so much. You guys do a tremendous job. I just have a couple of quick questions. Excuse me. On page 42 of the budget, we talk about other contractual services. And I believe last year, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Last year, I know that it was $55,000, and that was largely for the IQS services along with other contractors. And then what I wanted a confirmation of is the additional 20,000 that's been plugged in there from 55,000 to 75,000 is to extend the project so we can go from 1995 to 1985 or something. Is that extra 20? Because I know that in this year's budget, we allocated $20,000 to get us moving. So is the 55 to 75 also going to be an additional 20 that's integrated in there? Because otherwise it's a really big jump, if you will, on a budget line. Can someone explain that to me or to the council?
I didn't really understand your question, Barry.
Okay, well, if you go to line item, other contractual services, and the request went from $55,000 to $65,000. Okay, is all of that for IQS, or does any portion of that also go towards the scanning project? You know, I know that we have a grant, and this past year we got like a $7,000 grant. I know that you applied for a grant again this year, and so, but in this current fiscal year, we gave you $20,000, or we approved $20,000, then you got a $5,000 to $7,000 grant. So this coming year, you're applying again, and we hope to get another grant for whatever. Is there any other budgeted money in here of that $65,000? I'm just trying to understand, why is there a $10,000 increase in that budget line?
Okay, well, yeah, the 10,000 is, that's for, it should be for Atkins. You see
okay,
how,
I thought Atkins was other professional services that you've had in the past, 11,000, you brought down to 4,000 for the balance.
Right, so that money really goes in there in that item. It used to be one, but we just broke it.
No, I understand that. That's not my question though. I mean, since they are isolated out, I didn't ask about other professional services because I believe that was the ballots from Atkins. What I was really focusing on was other contractual services, which are now a separate line item, which was explained previously as being IQS. And I know the IQS, above and beyond its current services, is also doing the scanning project for us. So my question is, and if Frank, maybe you can answer it, is I'm just trying to understand why we increased that $10,000. Was there some additional thing that we're doing that we need it?
No, that is the investment in the online services that they're trying to bring in. At least that's the notation that's in the analysis sheet provided by the city clerk that should have been sent to you by Mike DeMassa.
Yeah, and I'm a little confused by it because, you know, we've always used IQS and, you know, for a while here, and, you know, and I know that you explained earlier, Frank, that, you know, prior administrations, they really didn't know how to budget for this at all. So you were trying to steer the ship correctly, if you will, to get it in reality. And so what I am concerned about is if indeed this is just an increase of an existing contractor to maybe have additional or enhanced services, I'm not understanding what that additional $10,000 is. And more importantly, is there any money in this budget line or other budget lines that I don't see to continue the scanning project so that we can go prior to 1995? I'm a bit confused.
I think.
Thank you for your patience with me. Just trying
again,
to
according to the analysis sheet that should have been sent to you, the city clerk asked for an additional $17,000 related specifically to that digitization and online project. And that was cut back in the mayor's recommended.
Okay, but that is shown in the $65,000 line, correct? That's what I'm asking. I'm just trying to find where that money is.
That's the only line that could possibly have gotten it. That's the only one that's moved that much.
Okay, so what you're saying is the digitization was to $15,000.
Yes.
Okay, so about $50,000 of the services they normally apply, and the other 15 is going to be for the continuation of the digitization project, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I understand it. And then, if I may, Madam Chair, I have a second question. Excuse me. To Patty's point, under other professional services, I see there has been a decrease of $7,000 from, I should say, excuse me, from well, I know $11,000 requested, but it went down to $4,000. And I understand that line to be predominantly like balloting, like ballots and election stuff. Is that going to be enough money? I mean, it's a big drop, or we didn't have to spend, is $4,000 what we need for that line? And I thought that was the Atkins budget line, more or less.
No.
I'm only asking because the department requested 11,000 and that was brought down to 4,000. So it is such a sharp drop. I just want to make sure that we're funded for, you know, the elections and ballots and so forth. Or maybe we're going to reimburse from the state for all we know.
No, it's 11,000 is what it's going to cost.
But you're getting, unless I'm misunderstanding this, you're getting 4,000 versus 11,000. So that's why I'm asking. Do we under budget there, I guess is my question.
Yes, you are under budget.
Yeah.
That's all the questions I have, unless someone wants to follow up on it.
I want to follow up on your question,
thank you.
Councilman
Thank
Cohen.
you.
Patty, tell me if I'm wrong, or maybe this was a conversation, Mayor Rossi, maybe I could be wrong. Hold on, you're Barry, and just you shake your head. You're talking about other professional services, 52480. How Patty asked for 11,000, and the mayor, department requested 11,000, and the mayor recommended 4,000. You want to know why there's a $7,000 difference? That was one of, I think, Councilwoman Johnston, that was something you were inquiring about as well. It is my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we were looking possibly for COVID funding to close the gap, because some of that stuff, I thought, Patty, when I met with you, that some of the things that fell under that could be gotten from COVID funding or requested from a grant or something.
I think, yeah, I think the mayor saw that I didn't spend that much because we did use it for COVID money.
Yeah.
But this year I am going to need the money for the ballots. We're going to, you know, have 2 elections again. And also, yeah, if you want to get, Atkins also binds our books. The books cost $90. The paper costs $85. We do 2.
We use 1 book and a ream and a half of paper every 2 weeks.
So what you're saying is your request, and what Councilman Cohen brought up, and I know it's an issue for Councilwoman Johnston too, that we and her and we all discussed what you brought up, is that you're saying that you believe you need another $7,000 for that line item.
Yes.
Okay. Frank, do you have an opinion on what is being discussed?
I have no idea what is flowing through there. I mean, you look at prior years, it's running at $3,000 to $4,000, even less.
Right.
In fiscal 18. So I don't know what would have driven that number up so high in fiscal 21, other than it was a presidential election year.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. Just because we have just a couple or more minutes left, I just want to respect everybody's time. Patty, if you and your staff can maybe send us something to let us know how you came up with $7,000, just so that in deliberations, when we're discussing everything, we can just literally see it instead of just a request, like what the figure would be. And then we would talk with Mayor Rossi to see, you know, and Frank, I guess in length as to why they thought 4,000 was going to be sufficient. If you can, does that make sense, my request? Yes. No, thank you. Does anyone else have any additional questions of Patty and her staff? Going once. Mayor Rossi, please, thank you.
I don't have a question as much as what we should pull there, and I'm sure we can get it, and that would be a detailed general ledger on that particular account. Because when you look at it historically, and I am looking at it, other professional services, first off, that should really be, if it's for ballots, it should be called ballots. There shouldn't be any other professional services. So I'm not quite sure myself at this point in time, because now everyone's saying it's ballots, and you look at the actual. Now we only have 2 actuals up here. One's FY19, one's FY20, and both were trending, you know, under the $4,000 that we're saying, you know, is left. Clearly nowhere near $11,000. Now, if you look at FY21, that's a revised budget. That's not actual. So there's a difference. So we need to know what's actually now been charged to that line item. And by requesting what we call a general ledger, it will show you just what was taken out of that line item instead of leaving it to, you know, people's memories, because there's a lot going on in everybody's budget and you can't possibly remember every possible transaction, but the computer does. So maybe that's what, Patty, maybe that's what you should get for them tomorrow requested from Frank to get a detailed general ledger on that particular account to find out.
I just want to show you, this is a book that, you know, we do once a week. This book, we have to pay for all the expensive, so, you know, it lasts forever. And, you know, the binder, it's all hundreds of dollars a week.
Just for one book and paper.
So that's one of the things Atkins does for us.
Atkins is the elections and it's the vitals.
Yeah, they do all the vitals, all the elections, all the.
No, Patty, I think we absolutely understand the need that you are, what you're saying. I think what we don't understand is that those books have been being purchased for quite a long time. So why all of a sudden in this year?
Yeah. I think part of the problem is it was always one line. So, you know, when I saw the extra money, I thought it was.
No, and that's fine. So if you could just follow up with Frank tomorrow, get it back to us and just so we can figure it out. Councilwoman Johnston, I know this was something you wanted to talk about as well. Did you have any follow-up questions or did you want to just wait until we got the information from the clerk's office? I don't want to not give you your moment.
No, thank you. I'm processing all of this. I think it'll help to actually see something, but that does answer the initial question I had. So thanks.
Anybody else? We're kind of a minute over and I know the registrars are waiting for us. All right. Well, thank you so much, Patty. I mean, we do appreciate everything that you and your staff are doing. We're really excited about the revenue you guys are generating. And if you can get that to us, you know, by the end of the week would be great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Hi, Sherry. Are you by yourself this evening?
I am by myself.
No worries. I just wanted to make sure I thought so, but
Joanne has faith in me. We get along
right.
so well. How's everybody doing through this time? Want to thank everybody for their time and work, the mayor, the council people. We just had one really question, and all we were asking is for our admins to get restored what they lost in the middle of a term. But that was our basic question. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So because 4 years ago, I hired Donna and Joanne hired Veronica, and they lost their medical benefits halfway through the term, 2 years. And then they lost $2 off their hourly wage. And the office hours got cut. So what we were asking, because this is a crazy time and everything is online now, if we can have their benefits and their hourly wage restored.
Okay. Did anybody, was that all? Like, did you want to discuss anything else? I don't want to cut you off.
Well, I see that everybody else got an increase in pay, like all the departments. And I'm just wondering why we are always singled out. The cost of living goes up.
We didn't get a raise either.
No, I know.
Not everybody, so let's be fair.
Right, not the people that get elected that got the raise. I'm talking about the employees, like our admins get paid hourly, and I'm not sure why they are not going to get a raise. I thought they follow the union.
Right.
The union does.
No, and that was a really good question. I did speak to Mayor Rossi, and she said that absolutely that we should, the council should definitely give the same raise across the board, the 1%. Okay. So that is a conversation we had, and she was right on board. I was like, hey, and she said yes. So definitely that was something I was going to bring up to you tonight.
Because I was told that they follow what the union goes by, like when they get
right. No, absolutely. So that's the good news, that they'll get the 1% as well.
Okay.
And we had well, I mean, that's a lie. I'm sorry. We have to vote on it. Yeah. Chairman Quagliani gave me the look. Did you see? He was like, So I can't promise anything. I am so sorry. I just made it seem like that was 100%, but from what the pressure I'll put on, Sherry.
Okay.
I'm looking at Councilman Cohen too. We'll see if, you know, we all get, if I get the yeses. But is that all you wanted to say? I don't want to cut you off anymore.
Yeah, that was it. We just wanted to make sure, you know, our admins are taken care of. You know, it was in the middle of the term. You know, we hired them, and 2 years after, it's like you going to get a job, and 2 years after that, you get cut your benefits and your hourly wage and the hours. It's just it all happens at one time, and it's like tragic.
No, I understand. I do have some questions, but I don't want to be the first to jump out in front unless does anyone else want to go first? Councilman Bruno?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be quick. Sherry, I just want to say during a presidential year, good job to you and your staff during this pandemic. And I know you guys worked really hard over there. And I just wanted to say good job to you and your staff. Kudos.
Thank you. It was
That's
challenging.
all, Madam.
It was challenging, but we survived.
Councilman Cohen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. How you doing, Sherry?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, Sherry, I just want to confirm that they're currently making $25 an hour. They were making $27 an hour. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so they're making 25 now, and they're working what, 19 hours right now? Okay, and they were working full time, which was what, 24, 25 hours?
They were working 25.
25. So they were working 25. They went down to 19. They're currently making 25. Well, the 1% increase will get them close to 27. I can't do math in my head, but it's pretty close to what it is. The only thing that I did want to point out, because the day that I got my second COVID shot, I know that Mitch Galagnano and I were both sitting in chairs waiting for our 15-minute egg timer to turn off, and we were given the letter that you had sent to some folks, I guess, February, what have you. And so my thing is I know that you guys asked for a lot of requests in your budget, and I'm happy to see that you're really just focusing on the administrative assistance for all the reasons that you just said. I think that's important, and I support that. But I will say to the council that you do bring up a good point. It hasn't happened yet, but when it does happen, some of these potential pending, we don't know yet, election laws and so forth. At that time, I think that we're all understanding to at least be cognizant of it, and and to review it at that time. I think right now we're just trying to be equitable to your administrative assistants and do goodwill here as best as we can. So, but I just want to let you know that we are cognizant of the letter, and we appreciate the thoughtfulness, and that's really it.
Oh, thank you. They work. We all work together as one team. We're not separated. We're nonpartisan. So we do each other's work, and we get along really well.
Yeah, I just want to let you know that it was well considered, at least by many of us that got the letter anyway. Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you.
So I guess I just want to follow up with Councilman Cohen. So when you requested 31,000 for the part-time elected from the 28,000, wasn't that a request to give you and the other elected official a raise? Because that's...
Yes, because Joanne...
Okay. No, but I'm just saying that it made it seem like you only requested for the administrators, which are the admins, but that's not.
No, through the letter, we just did the admins, but during our whole budget, we did an increase of everything to see what we can get. But our main concern is restoring what the admins had lost when we hired them.
Okay. And I just remember that how you explain that there is the request to say that when the hours were changed or the budget was cut, and the hours were shortened in the registrar's office. I think that perception is key, right? And that everybody tends to perceive things differently. So the hours were cut, but they didn't necessarily have to cut the hours of the registrar's office. You know, other solutions could have been created. Like someone could have worked 9 to 11 and then somebody else worked 2 to 5. I think that when we say that the administration or the city council or the mayor cut the hours in the office is not, in my opinion, actually factual. I think that we don't decide the hours in the office. That's decided by you and Joanne, and how you determine those hours were really what you guys decided. I mean, that's how I look at it. Like when I run a ship and I know I have these many hours, I decide, because you've told us on many occasions, we don't decide the hours. So the decision was made by you two to run it 9 to 1, Monday and Friday, and 9 to 3, Tuesday through Thursday. Like you could have split those hours up. You could do 1 to 5 every day if you wanted to. That's not a decision that we as a council or the mayor makes.
No, I know that. I know. And
okay,
that's why, and it works out well, is what I'm saying is we would like their benefits, and if they have to work so many hours to get their benefits.
No, but I understand what the question in regards to the benefits. I'm speaking directly to the fact that when we hear you guys speak, we hear that we cut your hours. We cut, you know, in what the registrar's hours are open. And that's, in my opinion, it's not necessarily a true depiction. And you make it seem as if we have control over the hours you're open, but we don't.
It's not when I say cut the hours. I mean, they were getting paid 25 hours times 27. Now they're getting paid $25 times 19. So it has nothing to do with the office hours. It has something to do with their weekly paycheck.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because I mean, it's just like any one of us taking a job. We were told a certain thing, and then 2 years after you're in that job, you lose everything. I don't think anybody would be happy about that.
Oh no, I don't. I agree. You're true. You may not be happy about it. I'll hold off. Does anyone else have any other questions? Chairman Quagliani.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hosky. Frank, could you tell me what benefits for a single person is right now?
Yeah, the cost to the city after the employee cost share for a single person is $10,573.
And then what does it go after that? Family?
For 2 people, so husband, wife, spouse, is $22,673, and for a family, $27,715.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We are only asking for the employees, only for the benefits.
Got it. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Frank. Councilwoman Hosky, I'm all set.
Are there any other questions? Councilwoman Hamilton?
Hi, Sherry.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I thank you for all that your office has done, especially during COVID. You had to make some quick changes.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. So I guess I'm, just staying on this same topic. So if your office was, where did you go? My screen just changed. There you are.
I know it changes. I'm like, where? Yeah.
So if you were to, if these folks got the benefits that you're looking for, what does that mean? Like, are you asking for these benefits and nothing changes, you know, there's some concern about office hours there. Is it really something that benefits the residents? Are you open long enough? Folks that, you know, work later want to come later, but they're not able to right now. Like, what would change if you were to get these benefits?
Well, we would keep the office open 9 to 3, and if you want, we can make arrangements, but we don't get a lot of foot traffic. A lot of it is from DMV and online registration. We hardly ever get foot traffic. The only foot traffic that we used to get is people asking what department was. I mean, we didn't have that many, except around election time.
So what you're asking, I just want to make sure I understand, is that these folks get benefits and nothing changes because everything's online.
No, well, we still have to process it. So we wouldn't get a lot of foot traffic, but there would be a lot more work. And we would keep the office Monday through Thursday, 9 to 3, and then Friday, 9 to 1.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilwoman O'Connor.
Thank you, Chairwoman. To continue with what Councilwoman Hamilton was saying, what if we give back the benefits? Could you open the back window, like say on Thursdays from 5 to 7, so that people that work 9 to 3 could come and hand in their things? I know there's a lot of people, my sister included, even though she's a year younger than me, does not like to use the computer for certain things. Is that something that could maybe be arranged?
Yeah, I mean, I could talk to Joanne and our staff, and I'm sure we can arrange something.
Did anyone hear what I said? I'm getting.
You're getting it.
Colleen, you were asking what additional services.
I think that would help the citizens out. I do know.
Are you there?
We got it, Colleen.
Right, like if they stayed open just late one night, you know, if they didn't come in from 9 to 3, but like from
like 2 to 6 or something like that.
And that was the end of my question. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Colleen. Sherry, did you want to say anything? Because
I mean, I could talk to my staff and say, like she was saying, if they don't work 9 to 3, if they could do a late night, we could do that.
Councilwoman,
could they do that anyways? What if this didn't come through? What if we weren't able to find it? Could that still be an option? I mean, is one contingent on the other? Can hours be staggered like Councilwoman Hosky said? Could there be staggered hours?
Well, I mean, like just like with city clerk and the tax collector, they don't stay open late, and they're probably the most busiest office. I mean, we say open till 8 o'clock 2 weeks before an election every time, and nobody comes in. So we don't get a lot of foot traffic. For us to be staying there to hopefully someone will come in. I mean, everything is done online in DMV, and occasionally you have people come in. But like city clerk and the tax collector, they're the busiest office, and they don't have a late night for people.
But their hours are longer though than yours, right?
They're 9 to 5. Or the tax collector closes early. I think they close like at 4 or 4:30.
And you know, and Councilwoman Hamilton, and I appreciate you saying that, Sherry, but I know for personal conversation that the clerk's office is actually trying to figure that out.
Well,
so
I
mean, you're bringing up the other offices in the city, but part of your job is to get out the vote, right? And to canvass people and to go out into the community. At least I'm assuming. I mean, it's really not about the community coming to you. I would think some of it, and when I've researched what registrar's offices do in other cities and other states, they're out there pounding the pavement, having you know.
We do that twice a year.
But you're asking us to give you more money, to give you more hours, but basically, I don't understand what the city and the taxpayers are getting out of that. I get what you want to give your employees, I'm
just asking what was taken away. That's all I was asking.
Right, but you don't even want to give us back what you took away when that was taken away. You don't even want to open again to 9 to 5. You don't even want to do that.
I don't know how they did it back in the day, but I find it more when two people work together. One worked from 8 to 1, and then the other one came from 12 to 5. How can you really get the job done in an hour of working together? Especially during an election, everything is done in the morning. So by the time my girl came in the afternoon, the work would get done. She wouldn't have anything to do. So having them work together is such a big difference in helping answering all the emails, getting the registrations done. During the COVID, we had so many people online registration. We had we had like 6,500 online registrations during COVID.
So with I guess I guess I would, if I would hear the argument, I don't understand what the workload is. Like, I don't understand the workload that, and if any of the other council people understand it, I mean, please help me formulate this. But when I'm thinking about the workload, I don't understand what the workload is that would support an additional, is it 12 hours total? I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I don't understand what the workload is that gets us to those 12 hours. That's just my, does anyone else, I don't understand it. Does anyone else understand?
You don't know what we do then? Is that what you're saying? You don't know?
Nope, that's not what I said. I don't understand. You want to give them back what they've lost. That is your argument. My counter is, what is the workload that says you need that many hours, those additional hours? Because you're saying that nobody comes into your office, that there's no foot traffic, that they're handling everything. And I'm not going to tell you how to do your argument, but you haven't even said that, you're behind in registrations. You got, 40 hours that you have to make up. Like, none of that is coming to the front to say, this is why I need this. All I'm hearing, in all due respect, is that you want to give them back what they've lost. And I'm sorry, Sherry, all I hear is that the decision to cut the hours in the registrar's office was a good decision, and we've saved money. And I don't know, maybe the mayor wants to speak to why she did that and what made her come to that decision. I look at the tax office and their lines are down the street. They're arguing like they need more people, and I can see why they do. I hear it, and I hear it in the clerk's office that they are overwhelmed and they're behind and they're not getting through the work.
Because
and that is not.
They get people at their doors, and when you get interrupted, we have online registrations. We get like hundreds a day. It doesn't have to be a person bringing in a voter registration, especially with the election coming up, 2 elections coming up.
No,
there's going to be a lot of voter registrations coming in. But if you don't think just inputting voter registration is a lot of work, it is a lot of work.
I did not say it was a lot of work.
And then we have the canvas. We do the canvas. We have to mail out all the canvas to make sure people are still living where they are.
Right.
There's other behind the scenes that nobody understands what goes on in there.
Right. So I just want to correct, for the record, because I want to make sure that I'm heard correctly, because nobody not say, I did not say that it wasn't a lot of work. What I am not understanding is the need for the additional hours, that the workload, that you're not able to handle the workload with what you have right now. That's kind of, and that could just be me. I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but it appears to me in everything and how you run your office that you're able to complete everything with the hours and the team that you have. That's how it appears to me. I don't know how it appears to the rest of the council, and that is just how it appears to me. Mayor Rossi, I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to discuss or make mention of.
Yes, I do. When I first got into office, the registrar's office was supposed to be open from 9 to 5. In fact, there was actually a gold bar on the desk with the engraved time frames and everything. And as everyone knows, in 17, we were on the verge of bankruptcy. We ended up having to have the state come in because the past administration did deficit bonding. That being said, we've had to deal with the state ever since. So we can no longer spend money like it's going out of style, and we have to be very, very conservative. So I don't want to make it sound like 1 or 2. There were several offices that got cut. One of the offices that got cut, and Lee Tanner would be more than happy to tell you, was Corporation Counsel. And I did the exact same thing there, if you will. What happened was they had 2 part-time attorneys when I got in. The 2 part-time attorneys worked 25 hours a week. And just so everyone understands, that's where the big cutoff is. If you work 19 hours or under a week, you don't get benefits. You get your pay, but you do not get benefits. So for instance, like we were talking before about the 1% increase, anyone that's working 19 hours a week is not entitled to the 1% increase. That's just the way the rules go. That being said, the 2 part-time attorneys worked 25 hours each, had full medical benefits, one on a family, the other one on the single, I believe it was. When I got in, I cut those positions to 19 hours. To this day, they sit at 19 hours. Why? Because are we doing better financially? Absolutely. Are we there? Do we have a 5% fund balance that we're supposed to have? Absolutely not. And there's much work to be done. So wherever we can save, we do. Now, going back to the registrar's office, the way it used to work was the way Sherry just explained it. One person would be there 8 to 1, and then the other one 12 to 5. The problem was, before anything with the hours, there was a lot of problems, because who wanted to work in the morning, who wanted to work in the afternoon. In fact, I had 2 meetings, and Sherry knows this, with Lou Esposito and Tom McCarthy and the registrars there. We never came to any resolution with that, because again, I can't dictate and I can't tell them when their folks have to work or will work. So what happened was, like I said, we went from 9 to 5. So what ended up happening again, when I had the next budget to do, I cut the hours to the 19 hours a week. These folks are not in a term, if you will. They work like any other support personnel. They are employees of the city of West Haven. They are not elected officials, okay? And so that's the way that I ended up doing it, with the hope that the office would still be open the hours, because the way it was then, they only had an hour overlap, like Sherry just explained. So I'm thinking in my head, okay, I got 19 and 19. I got 38 hours. That's 2 hours shy of the 40 hours to keep the office open from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. in doing that, I figured, okay, maybe the deputy registrars could, you know, come in the extra couple hours. If not, maybe they could close 2 hours early on Friday and have posted hours. Well, unfortunately, that did not happen. What ended up happening is they doubled up and put 2 of them in the office at the same time and made their own hours. So just so everybody is aware again, as the mayor, I do not control the hours. The only ones that can set the hours for the registrar's office are the registrars. And they did do that. And in fact, there was some pushback because for months, there were no posted hours. So they'd be calling my office on when are they open? And we didn't know when they were open because it depended from week to week when they were open. Now we do have the set hours there, the Monday through Friday hours. That being said, sometimes they are closed, sometimes they open late. And just so everyone knows, what happens then is people from the registrar's office that went there, like say they needed a voter card or to look something up, they get sent to the city clerk's office. She is open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. So my position is this. If you look at the numbers, and thank you, Frank, for giving the numbers to Chairman Quagliani, if we were right now, their salaries are $49,000. Family benefits for 2, okay, would be almost $55,000. And that does not count, that's just insurance, so that you know. It doesn't count holidays, it wouldn't count paid vacation. 25 hours to me, you know, you're getting a full-time set of benefits and you're working 25 hours. In the real world, stuff like this doesn't happen. So this is one of the reasons that I did it. It wasn't, again, isolated to this office. I did the best I could with the mess I was handled. And I think we should be proud of ourselves because tightening our belt has worked. We are working out of this mess that was created. But if we go back to the way that we were doing things, we're going to end up back the same way. So I still don't understand because I go by that office a lot. I'm up and down the stairs. Everybody knows I'm all over the place, in and out during the day. And again, I have never seen a line. I really haven't. During the election, that's a whole different thing. And I'm not saying during the elections. I'm talking day-to-day, Monday through Friday activity. So that's the position that I'm in. I understand that, you know, again, even though if they stay at the 19 hours, which is what I'm hoping they end up staying at, they really aren't entitled to the 1% raise. But I do understand that, you know, money is tight and things are tough. So if the council so desires, as I had said to Finance Chair Hosky, you know, the 1% raise, you know, that's absolutely fine. To hand back the benefits though, because just so that you know, if we did all of that, and then after we start the year, once we start the year, if all of a sudden they decide they're keeping the hours where they are, that's the way it goes. That's exactly what happened in the past. And that's what I'm concerned about as well. So right now, to me, to increase that office, as they're telling you, most stuff's online, most stuff's not, you know, done the way it used to be and different things like that. A lot of stuff is online. Right now, I don't see a line there. And I don't see, you know, and I go by there a lot. And I don't see the line and I don't see the busyness right now. So in my opinion, again, the 1% would be great, but I think the office should be left just the way that it is as far as hours and you know, benefits or lack thereof because it's 19 hours. Thank you. I don't know if anybody has any questions for me, but I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, everybody says you don't see a line and you don't think we're busy, but we get a lot of online registration that takes time to input all these voter registration cards. I get it. You want to keep it back at 19, but why did you take $2 away from their hourly wage?
I did that again because of the financial condition. I did the same thing in Attorney Tiernan's office. They were making, you know, if I looked at it more, and even this year they asked for a raise and I didn't give it to them. I don't know if you folks will, that's entirely up to you, but I tried very hard. We're trying very, very hard to cut corners. It's not only in one office. You can see where cuts have been made and different things have been made throughout the time that I've been in because we've had hard decisions and we've been trying to keep the mill rate down, not to go up. And we do have state oversight. So I try very, very hard to be fair and equitable across the board. Let's look at it this way. The full-time employees didn't get a raise. This is FY22 is the first time since I got in 17 that they're getting a raise, full-time employees throughout the city. And that's just the way it is. It's unfortunate, but this is what happens when, you know, deficit bonding was done. And
Mayor Rossi, I just, only because I want to respect everybody's time, and we do have somebody else coming up, but I know I saw Councilman Cohen, he was trying to get a question, and I'm going to let him ask a quick question, and then Councilman Bruno will be the last to follow up. If we can just be as concise as possible, guys, just because we have other people waiting. Thank you.
Yeah, just really quickly, I don't want to talk about the benefits or the extended hours, but I remember I asked a similar question a year ago that the mayor was nice enough to respond to me when I said, I'm paraphrasing here, a year ago, why do we decrease their salaries from, before I joined the council, from 27 to 25? And at the time, I believe the answer was she was trying to make it in parity with what other similar positions were making in wherever they were, okay? And so what I heard this evening was that the mayor also cut the, I'm going to say the hourly wage of the corporation council part-timers as well, if I understand that correctly. So because just being a purist here, and again, I don't have the data to compare, is I understand why we went from full-time to part-time. I understand why benefits at this point, given the situation that we're in, would not be applicable. I guess the one thing that is, it's not personal, but it happened was that you had two existing employees that went to part-time, and they went from 27 to 25. At the 1%, they're gonna make 25. And if you calculated just to give them $27 versus $25, if I did my calculations correctly, we're talking about $4,000 additional, because you're talking 19 hours times 2, 38 times 52 weeks times 2 gives you $4,000. But when someone says, well, we can do that and just give it to them, it's only $4,000. Well, it may be only $4,000 that we don't have right now. And so, I think as the financial condition of the city gets better, I do think, honestly, those legacy employees, it does hurt to know that you're working just as hard and getting $2 less, but I'm somewhat, there's some justification because other departments also had to reduce their pay scale, if I understand correctly. Would that be right, Mayor? Did I get that kind of right?
I'll be brief.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Councilman Bruno?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It was answered. I'm good.
So I have a quick question. And I just want clarity because this is just who I am. Yeah. When we said they had to be part-time, and I just want to know this to be the case. So, part of what Councilman Cohen was saying is that it was $27 to go down to 25. But isn't it, and maybe I'm wrong, but maybe, I don't know. So what if could you have paid them for 15 hours and given them $28 an hour? Or is that something that you, Mayor Rossi, controlled? Like you said, they were going to get 19 hours at 25 an hour.
That was, who are you asking, me or her?
Mayor Rossi, like you said 19 hours for $25, or could they have done 15 hours at $30 an hour?
We could have, during the budget process, it would have to been clear in the budget and explained, and then it would have been up to the council to yes or no that. In other words, you folks are the ones that control the purse strings, if you will. So if you wanted to say, okay, let's just do 15 hours, but we're going to give them a little bit more, that's entirely up to you.
Oh, no, I was just curious. So I was just curious if that's how, I don't exactly remember how that happened. If it was, okay, we're going to pay them and they're going to get 19 hours. I was just curious. But yeah, I was just, so it was, thank you. I got my answer. I was just curious.
Well, 2 years ago when the budget came out, I thought it was 17 and a half hours. We didn't know that the hourly wage was cut until like 2 months after the budget was passed.
Maybe that's what I'm remembering. Maybe that's when you said it was 17 hours.
And the Mayor Rossi said she was going to go and figure that's not right. And I said, well, if you do the math, the hour, it comes to 17 and a half. So, and then 2 months later, after the budget passed, we get the email saying that, oh no, it's $25 an hour.
Okay, I thought I was wondering how that went. I couldn't remember, but thank you.
Thank you.
Anything really quick so that we can,
okay. I just want to thank you for your time and have a good night.
Thank you so much, Sherry, for joining us. We appreciate it. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye. So who do we have joining us from the assessor's office? I don't see.
Hi, it's Anne Marie.
Hi, Anne
Marie Gradoya. Thank you.
And who?
Good evening, everyone. Just myself.
Oh, okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
Do you have anything you want to review or anything you want to say before we open it up to the council to ask you any questions?
No, just here to answer any questions you guys may have.
No, we appreciate that. Does anybody have any questions for Anne Marie? I don't see any hands raised.
Wow, that's good.
Chairman Quagliani, he
Hi, Anne Marie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
So just maybe a quick comment and then a quick question. So I know that I know that, we went through a reval, and I know that the grand list, grew nicely, and I want to thank, your team and others for that work. That I know there's a lot of work that needs to be done for the reval. The one part of assessments, though, that typically I've been seeing is that, now the city is looking to, sell various properties that are either, in disrepair, or that really there's no long-term strategy for them. And typically the assessment on public buildings is like, it doesn't appear that it's an actual assessment. It's like some, I think, I don't know if it was the Allentown building or the conference center. There's just these wild numbers that I think that are put in there. Do we do the same assessment for public property as we do for private property?
We do. I think you're talking probably about the library.
Yes.
But the problem with the library was library costs are high. And what happened is when they took away the parking, it probably should have been reduced, but we don't, for lack of a better term, take it as seriously because we're not getting any income on it. So we didn't rush to reduce it.
I got it. So during this last exercise, all of the public property was updated as well.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. No, that's helpful. Thank you. And I just listen again.
You're welcome.
All these offices have been going through a quite unusual year and adapting to COVID and the precautions and doing the work out of a window and through appointments and things like that. So again, thanks to you and your office for adapting, to this new normal. How has the reception been from community members regarding access to the assessor's office? Have you felt that there's any difficulty with that, or calling on the phone and calls back? I mean, how is the office typically handled regarding that?
Honestly, everybody returns phone calls if they don't get to the phone, or it's been running great. We get people calling and just asking us, are you open? How can we get paperwork to you, documents to you? And there's several ways, and they're very happy to know they can email, very happy to know that, as well as the window. And I know last spring and summer, we even went to I went to an elderly person's house to pick up her documents for the homeowner's benefit and dropped it back off. We've been meeting them outside. All of us will, have been really good about trying to get work and from everybody. But I think everybody's really liking having that outdoor window and the email. I think we'll continue that, especially with the homeowner's benefit and the freeze benefit. It's going well because the elderly, don't have to leave the house if they don't want to.
Yeah, no, that's terrific, and thank you for the adaptability. I know that you have
You're welcome.
Senior tax credit, and So so with the reevaluation, what are you seeing for volume for the Board of Assessment Appeals?
It's about the same as it is every reval. I mean, great. I really haven't analyzed it from the past, from 2015 with the commercials, but I thought there were quite a few commercials that came in, and they did go up a lot. I mean, we had sales apartment buildings that were really, really high, they went up. We had an increase of an increase of about 7 to 8%, and apartment buildings went up about 30%. We had 2 big hotel sales, the Hampton Inn and the Econo Lodge. No, not the Econo Lodge, the Hampton Inn, sorry, the Best Western. The Hampton Inn was about almost $11 million sold for. And they are remodeling, so, but everything went well.
Good. And now, are they continuing now, the appeals, or is that over with?
That's over with as of last week. Last week was the last week. It was tough this time around for the board, the secretary and the board members, because they had to do it on Zoom. Right. And so it was a lot more work for the secretaries, which are the girls that work in my office. They're not supposed to do the work on the regular hours, only after hours. And it took a lot more time for them this year because they had to have 3 packets of to give to the board members to take with them. So they had make multiple copies of everything. And it was, hopefully this is the last year we have to do this.
I'm with you.
People definitely want to do this in person.
Right. All right. Well, thank you, Anne Marie.
You're welcome.
Councilman Hosky.
Councilman Donovan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hi, Anne Marie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. First of all, thank you and your staff. Anytime I've had any issues or needed something, everybody's been there for me.
Good. You're welcome.
Now, that GIS, do you guys handle that?
We do.
Okay. When was the last time it was updated though?
Recently, actually. Recently. No, it was recently updated. And what do you mean? Maybe you could be a little more specific?
Yeah, I mean, there are properties that I go through and I'm looking that the city might own that, maybe we don't need to own them anymore or whatever. But I go on the GIS and it's like the photos aren't correct or the properties aren't there. I don't have them specifically off the top of my head, but if I can go through them again, I'm not going through them all, obviously, but the ones I was concerned with, I can always contact you and see if there's something you can do with that.
Absolutely. Let me know if you find something incorrect. But yes, whenever we do map changes once or twice a year, where I give the GIS company all the map changes, any subdivisions or property splits, I give to them, and I'm pretty much up to date. There's just a few more that they need to get right now, but I do stay up to date with that. And as for the pictures, if you find a missing picture, we did a full picture. We did the full city, taking all new pictures maybe 10 years ago now. So we try to, take photos every time we have a new house or somebody changes their house. I mean, but if you find one that's incorrect, some of the houses are difficult to take pictures of. Busy street. They have different numbers on the house at their addresses. So as soon as you find one that may be incorrect, let us know and we'll fix it right away. I'd rather delete it than have a wrong picture. So if I have to, I delete it till we get to go back and take a new picture.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay. You're welcome.
Here.
Any other questions? Okay. I guess that is it, Anne-Marie. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Stay safe, and we appreciate all that you do.
You too. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye now. Bye.
Is the tax office?
Yeah, this is Leslie Neesby from the tax office.
Oh, you're the 214? Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. is there anything you want to share with us before we start firing off questions?
I did like most of the others ahead of me. I wanted to thank, number one, my staff, because they were awesome during the pandemic. They seamlessly opened the window service, and, you know, Mayor Rossi put provisions in place so that we were, and Maureen Lillis, so that we were protected. And, you know, it was hard for them at first to deal with the public with the masks on and gloves on and all that. But we were very lucky, and I think things really went seamless, and the public was very responsive to it. So, you know, I'm very thankful for that.
Have you seen, due to COVID, like less traffic, or do you, you know, like people doing more things online, or have you not seen that much of a change? But sometimes people just want to get out, right?
Yeah,
stand in a line.
The trend has been for more online activities, even prior to COVID. But we definitely saw an increase, like year to date. Like we are, I ran a report for the last 3 years, and it looks like we're like 3 times the online. That's my projection for this fiscal year. So 19, 20, 21, the onlines are 3 times as much.
I want to ask a question, but I'm not sure if Councilwoman Hamilton was going to ask it. Did you have any questions, Councilwoman Hamilton? Because, oh, good, so I can ask it. Can you, me and Councilwoman Hamilton have talked about this, the fee that is charged that everybody gets really mad at us about. I believe, and I just want to take this opportunity to maybe just, you know, share a little bit of knowledge with any of the constituents or residents that might view this, is that the fee that we charge for a MasterCard payment or Visa, it's I'm not sure what it is. That fee is charged by them who processes it.
Correct, it's charged by the vendor.
And it is and I could be wrong, but I just am trying to break this down so we all understand. I know when I go to Walmart and I might charge my daughter's new socks on my MasterCard, I know MasterCard charges what, like they don't give them all of the money. They take out a fee from that for me having used my card. They don't get the $7.
Correct.
They might get $70.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a user fee. And I actually did price it out because there's about 2 major vendors that we could use that are
You are literally reading my mind. So go ahead, continue that, please.
Yes, there are 2 vendors that are competitive with our software company, and our software company is Quality Data. They pretty much service almost all of the municipalities for the state of Connecticut. So, you know, I was speaking with the other company, and they couldn't beat our rates. So I certainly wouldn't switch to a company that would charge the taxpayers more than what they're already paying. If I found somebody who could charge less, I would certainly consider that as an option. I mean, we want the best, you know, it's a great mechanism for people to pay, but you know, we try to tell people to pay Visa, the Visa debit charges, I think, don't quote me, but I think it's $2.95, and e-check is $2.95 or whatever. It's like a couple of dollars as opposed to a percentage. So we do try to inform people of that as much as possible. We try to highlight it online so that, you know, people know before they even go into the system what it is, and it also states it before they finalize their transaction. Correct. But it's the best that I know of right now, but we're always looking for other options that are more beneficial for the taxpayers.
Well, I want to just have you share with us another point, because I don't necessarily know the answer to this. Why doesn't, and I'm not saying we should do this, but I know people are wondering, why doesn't it come out of the tax payment? Why, if somebody's paying $500 for taxes, why isn't the city taking the hit on the fee?
I don't think the statutes are very specific on tax collection. So if you're asking that expense be part of the tax revenue, I don't really think that's allowed by statute. The costs are always added on in tax collection. That's fine.
Right. So I didn't want to assume, and Councilwoman Hamilton, we were having the discussion. We didn't want to assume that because it is a tax payment, that's why. Like, it's not that the city doesn't want, you know, to keep $497 and give the $3 to the MasterCard company. It is legitimately that because of the statute or whatever, that it's not allowed. Like the fee has to come from the person making the payment. And I think that is right. So that is what I just really wanted to take the time to kind of educate the public on that. It's not that the city is doing something and trying to charge them more. It is that these are your options to pay. And if you choose to use it, the credit card company, okay. So I just wanted to get it from what, from, you know, the expert's mouth, which is you.
Thank you.
No, thank you for sharing that and, you know, just helping us clarify for people. Are there any other questions for Leslie? And I'm sorry, I'm monopolizing. Councilwoman Cohen? No, I'm sorry, Councilman Donovan. You didn't have your hand. I don't know why I said that. Sorry. Councilman Donovan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a couple questions, I guess, would be correcting. One, I see over here you have the collection analysis. Did you lose that job, or did you get rid of that job and add a job? Is that?
Yeah, what I'm doing is redefining roles in my office. One of the positions, I've reduced the hours. So I took away some salary from that position, and the other position I removed and added a position in its place. And it's to reflect really what's going on in my office. The position is really running the day-to-day financials of the office. The person that does this job is really like the liaison to the banks. He's the liaison to the online. So he's really running the day-to-day operations of the revenue. And I'm trying to put him on par with, you know, the other offices, like, you know, on par with the assessor's office, because he does really oversee, you know, the day-to-day.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. The other question I had was, I don't know if this happened, if it is still happening, and if it is, why. My understanding is that the tax collector's office was not accepting cash. Is that?
That is correct. Yes.
And can I ask why?
As part of the COVID health procedures, that was an option that we chose, as did many other municipalities, because of the, you know, because when the cash comes in, the germs transacted and all that. And also my cashiers are not working at their registers, they're working at the window, and then they have to take the cash, walk to the, walk essentially across the, I mean, this was my perspective. The reason why we did it was mostly for safety, but the other part is they'd be walking with, you know, a handful of cash from the window over to their register. And it wasn't like the right thing, I didn't think.
We're accepting,
you know, it was difficult enough at the window to do these transactions, you know, with the mask on and the, you know, the hearing part of it. To be counting out cash that way would be very difficult.
No, I understand that. But now people are now almost forced to pay by credit card and pay more.
They can pay by check, money order,
right?
Certified check, money order.
Isn't that the same thing as handling the cash, though?
It's not the same as cash. Because people come, sometimes when people come in, they're bringing thousands of dollars in cash and, you know, $20 bills. So it would be very difficult for them to count it at the, again, it's a, you know, obviously I'll do whatever, you know, the administration decides, but it'd be very difficult for them to count at the window, you know, those dollars while the wind is blowing. And, you know, it would just be difficult for my staff. I'm not saying we can't or won't do it, but it's, that decision hasn't been made at this time.
I mean, I'm bringing it up because there's a lot of people that are very upset over it. And I just wanted to, you know, get an answer, you know, why that's happening, why it did happen. Hopefully we'll go back to accepting cash very shortly. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilman Cohen. Councilwoman O'Connor? Councilman Donovan, why, I don't know why. Barry, you're right in the center of my thing and I keep looking at you and I'm saying your name. Councilwoman O'Connor, please. Thank you, Councilman Donovan.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hosky, but my question was exactly the same. It was about cash and when you think you might take it in. That's the most calls that I'm getting. There's still people that prefer to pay in cash than any other way. So thank you for answering it. That was it.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Councilman Bruno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for coming before us. We appreciate it. So I won't touch on the cash thing any further, but in June and July, the tax collection process during COVID, let's say come June or July, is it going to all still remain at that window or what? Because I imagine it'll be long lines. What's going to be the plan in June and July? Can you tell us that, please?
I cannot tell you that at this time. You know, I think I would have to meet with my boss and the mayor and probably the health director. I mean, that's not a decision that I would be making alone. So I don't really know the answer to that just yet.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Cohen.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Hi, Leslie.
Hi.
Hi. I just wanted to just confirm, I know it's been covered before, but when I looked at your budget, it seemed to me that, you know, to the point that you made is your collection analyst one, the person who is doing that job now, including a small reduction in the person that's doing analyst two. Analyst two, that person is still employed in here. They're taking a small pay cut, it seems. And the analyst
Correct.
one is being, I will say, based on their role and their enhanced role, they're being reclassified. And that same person is going to be the assistant tax collector analyst, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because there's so many titles here that were, you know, want to make sure I had them right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only other question I had is more of a curiosity more than anything else is on page 62, there's the advertising line, excuse me. What type of, you know, I mean, it went up from like from 1873 to 2600, you know, I mean, I'm just wondering, are we doing, why the cost increase? Are we doing just a lot more, we're finding a lot more ads that we're doing online or I'm just curious.
Yeah, the ad is statutory, we're required to run it. It's just been an increase with the, the register.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, all right, so it's just, okay, yeah, that was the only thing that really stuck out to me.
There was a little bit of increase only because of the COVID, we did add a little bit of COVID language, but it was nominal.
Well, yeah, understood. I got you. That is all I had. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mayor Rossi?
Thank you very much. I wanted to address the cash issue. Last year, of course, when we had to, do things differently because COVID had struck, we didn't accept cash because our only mode of collecting money was outside. And to the points where Leslie just announced, whether it be wind blowing, people bringing large amounts of cash, and people seeing this in line, we were concerned for people's safety. We were concerned for the employee safety and all of that. That being said, though, now, because we are taking appointments in City Hall on the first floor, I didn't get a chance today to meet with Leslie because I had a lot of meetings today, but I will get a chance to meet with her within the next day or so. And also Maureen, I want to sit down and figure out a way to have it that we do accept cash. Now, I must tell you, I'm pretty shocked when I found out, because I asked Leslie last year when they wanted to eliminate cash. And I'm like, well, how many people pay in cash? And I believe it was over $1 million. So it's surprising. I think that people should be really careful because if someone knows you have a lot of cash on you today, we live in a different world than it was 20 years ago, say. So you have to be careful. But that being said, we are going to work something out. We do have canopies for the windows. We haven't worked all the details out. I know Councilman Bruno had asked about this. We haven't worked all the details out of what we're going to do come June, because we'll have the early, tax season, if you will. A lot of people do pay early in June, but we more than likely are going to, again, try to keep everybody safe. So that may be that the lines are outside. So Lou Esposito did secure canopies so that if it rains, it won't be snowing, but if it rains or, the sun or anything at all like that, people will be better protected. So again, I don't have a crystal ball either. We kind of take it some days, day by day, sometimes hour by hour. But I do want to rectify and let everyone know we will work on some type of cash policy, because I understand there are people, maybe they don't have a checking account. And it is sad to think that they would have to pay this 3% fee on top of their taxes, unless that's what they wanted to do. Because some people, believe it or not, don't care about that, but money's really tight, that 3% adds up. So I just wanted to make everybody aware of what the plans are going forward.
Thank you, Mayor Rossi. Any other questions? I wanna, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening, Leslie. We really do appreciate you taking time out of your day. And we hope you and your staff can continue to stay safe.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Maureen, how are you?
Councilwoman Hosky, I'm well. How are you?
I'm living the dream, Maureen. I'm living the dream.
We are glad to hear it. We all are, aren't we?
Yes, but you are, gosh, you do a lot, Maureen. Is there anything you'd like to share with us? Anything you want to go over, or did you want to just jump to our questions? How did you want this time to go?
I'm happy to answer any questions council may have.
Okay. Well, I'd like to kick off with you just getting a moment to talk about any upcoming clement clinics that I know that you have scheduled here in West Haven. So you want to take a moment to do a little pitch?
Absolutely.
I would like to give you this. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for that, because we are having 2 clinics coming up this Friday, 201 Noble Street, 12 noon to 8 p.m., which will make it a little easier for people who work during the day to get their vaccine. Again, it's Moderna. It's open to West Haven residents, and all you have to do is call the main office, 937-3660, and schedule an appointment. The second clinic for West Haven residents is Saturday, May 1st. Also 201 Noble Street, and that will be a daytime, like 10 to 4, 10 to 5. Again, just call the main health department number to schedule an appointment. No vans, just call and tell whoever answers that you want an appointment.
And can I hope this is okay. And you do look for volunteers, right? Like you do take people from the community who might wanna.
We do, we sure do. We're happy to have volunteers. There are many different roles to fill, and we're also looking for vaccinators. We're always looking for vaccinators, nurses, paramedics. We have Stone Academy coming this Friday to students with an instructor to help out, to maybe offset some of the vaccinators, regular vaccinators we've had week after week, because we realize that they're giving of their own time, especially on a Friday evening or a Saturday. So we are happy to have Stone help us the next couple of weekends. Yeah, anyone who wants to volunteer should just get in touch with me.
Perfect. So just this popped into my head and has nothing to do with the budget season, but have you, I'm just saying, like, I'm not sure what I know what some of the volunteering is because I've done it. And so have other council people, but have you maybe reached out to the school? I know they have like the peer advocate group. I know there's a councilwoman who does the honor society at the high school. I'm not sure what, 17 or 18-year-olds, if there's anything they could do, but if there is, I can, you know, spread the word for you.
I think the reason that we haven't is because of the age and the fact that none of them are vaccinated. You know, when you're in a group, when you're in a setting with the public, it's probably safer to have at least
I didn't know if it was just, I didn't know if there might have been other things that could be done, but just, you're talking just, but just something to think about. You don't have to answer now, but just to give you that might be an option, and I could help you with it if
Thank you. Noted.
I'm going to stop talking now. Does anyone have any questions for Maureen? Councilman Bruno?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Maureen, thank you very much. I'd like to just say, you and your staff, excellent job during these very difficult times.
Thank you very much.
Really, really, really good job. And with that, I just have one question. The sanitarian part-time, it's a small amount of money. It's like 19%, $8,214. What does that represent, if you would tell me that?
What does it represent? Say it one more time, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's on page 95.
Correct.
And it's the last line item there, sanitarian part-time. When you come across on it, it's up 19%.
Yeah.
What does that represent? If you could just explain that to me.
Sanitarian part-time is a position that was formerly occupied by a gentleman who left. And while I would obviously prefer to have that position be full-time, it's not a permanent, it hasn't been a permanent position in many years. So we made it part-time. I'll be honest, the 19.7%, that's a decrease. So it looks like it went down, or it's going down.
Yeah, that line item has me a little confused. That's why I just wanted you to maybe Frank can help us.
Yeah, that's an increase from 21.
Okay, so what is that, Frank?
I think in 21, Maureen, I think part of that was paid through the grants or the funding.
The lead grant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Correct. And we no longer have 2 lead grants. We used to have, in fact, we used to have almost 3 lead grants, which we no longer have. So now it's all falling on the city.
Okay, so could you just explain that to me one more time? Because I lost you there for a minute. So
this position used to be funded partially by a state lead grant, 2 state lead grants, which we no longer have, which were taken away. So that's why we're requesting this increase.
Okay, and that will be for our part-time position.
Correct.
Okay, Maureen, thank you very much. I have nothing else, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
And Maureen, when you talk about like the grants, your department goes after a lot of grants. Like you work with, the name escapes me for all of a sudden now, right? Our new grant writer. Thank you so much. But you work with him to go after, or does he like just work and find stuff for you? Like, how does that happen when you do locate grants? Because I know you do have applied for like CDA and.
We're very fortunate in that the state, I don't have to look very hard. The state offers, CDA, yes, we went after that, but the state offers this funding. They get pots of money and they, offer it to the health departments, and we never refuse because the money that we require is endless, especially after 2020. The future of public health is going to be very different and more demanding and more expensive. So any opportunity we get for funding, I will be asking for it. But the state, it's usually come from the state or federal government. Preparedness money. We used to have lead money, medical reserve corps money, and that all comes from the state and federal government. So, and that's why we're able to, and per capita funding, which is why we're able to fund things like, pest control. Which I only asked for $1,000. Pest control and mosquito control is a good $25,000 bill every year. And, you know, a lot of that is paid for with state funding.
Well, I just really appreciate, you know, that type of thinking, you know, not to just say, oh, well, the city has to come up with the money, right? I mean, it goes to kind of, you know, Chief Terenzio from Allentown Fire Department. You know, he came in and he hit the asphalt running, looking for outside money to help, you know, close the gap and just add, you know, it's just really important. So I really appreciate that every time I see something come through from CDA, it has Maureen's name on it. And I'm like, yay, you know, and I know that there's other grants that you're applying for. So I just encourage you and your staff to keep doing that, because it just helps us enhance, you know, the services that we can provide to our residents, you know, and that's appreciated. So
correct. Thank you.
I'm gonna you know, Councilman Massara, and that's all I'm going to say about that, but it's appreciated. Anyone else have any questions for Maureen? Councilwoman O'Connor.
First off, I want to thank you for all that you've done and apologize for my Wi-Fi today. It seems like I'm talking very slow. I realize that we're probably all going to have to get boosters, especially for the Moderna, and I realize that they might come out in the fall. Do you know if that's something that the health departments are going to give out, or is it something that we make on our own with our own providers?
Well, my plan is to definitely offer it. You know, and again, I don't know that we'd be able to accommodate the entire city, that based on the allocation. And I'm hoping that once this becomes, and I have a feeling this is going to become a regular annual shot, that it'll become easier for us to get what we need and more accessible, just like the flu shot. But my plan is to definitely continue to vaccinate, not just, I mean, even beyond the pandemic. You know, offer flu vaccine and Tdap shots and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it's my plan to continue.
Thank you very much. And I really appreciate all the hard work you and your department have done during this awful time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Cohen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hi, Maureen. How you doing?
Good. Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, Maureen, I just had a question for you. I was looking at the department analysis sheet, and I know, if I'm reading this correctly, that you had requested a secretary to answer phones, greet residents and business owners, et cetera. Now, we didn't have a new hire in here, do we? Is that something that you requested that was denied? I'm just trying to get clarity out of that. I don't. It's listed in the analysis sheet, but I just want to confirm that you did not, that we don't have it in the budget for an additional secretary. Maybe I'm missing something.
No, COVID funding is covering that.
Okay,
part-time secretary.
Okay, so yeah, because once that COVID funding is completed, it's complete. Because I saw the internal announcement on your COVID secretary, and that's what you're referring to in terms of that particular line item. Was what I'll call the temporary position. Would that be correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And just one other follow-up on the sanitarium part-time, please. To the point that you made, obviously, well, we didn't get partially funded by those other grants that you listed. But to Chairwoman Hosky's point, you apply for grants all the time, you know, wherever you can and so forth. But beyond all the other grants that you apply for, and, you know, you do a great job, God bless you. Do you think there's any possibility that there might be a personnel grant at some point later this year that you might be able to supplement part of that salary, or has all of our options been exhausted as of right now to get that partial supplement to that position? I know it's a hard question. You don't have a crystal ball, but, you know, I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, I really don't know, but I can guess that the answer is no right now, because all the funding is COVID related.
Right.
but I do believe that at some point we're going to have to start looking at, you know, the fact that there's life beside COVID, and
well, yeah.
You know,
I get you.
lead
Yeah.
is a huge issue. It continues to be an issue in cities like West Haven, New Haven, and you know, we will continue to look for extra funding.
Yeah, well, just for the public record, so that the public understands, is to your point, is you were partially funded for by those grants because of COVID, which brought you to the 49,000. In you know, that basically brought, excuse me, that would have brought you to 49,000, because the city basically paid 41,000. You had gotten some grant money, which brought that salary to about 49.
Lead funding.
Yes.
Lead funding, yeah.
Lead funding, I'm sorry, lead funding. So this year we're not planning on getting that. So you had to fully fund to 49,000, correct? That's what
correct.
I want to, okay, because the reason why I say that is truly in parity with what we did in the year 2020, when the salary was $51,000. So in a way, it's just an investment. I don't want to say we got lucky. Due to unfortunate circumstances, we got the supplemental funding for this 1 year that allowed us not to have to fully fund from the city. Is how I understand that line. And now this year we have to fully fund it.
Correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure that because that budget line kind of goes a little bit up and down. So I was just looking for clarity. Makes sense to me. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you so much. That's all my questions.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Okay.
Thank you, Councilman Cohen. Anyone else have any questions for Maureen? Okay. Well, thank you so much, Maureen, for coming this evening. And again, if you think about anything that, you know, any other volunteer options, any other opportunities, please let me know. I can definitely try to help you in that regard.
And if all of you, anyone knows residents who have not received a vaccine, please send them our way.
Yes, and and anyone that we know that might want to help volunteer that can give shots. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Beth. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi.
So is this going to be your final budget with us, Beth? I mean, there's word on the street that, you know, you might be, I don't know, going on to greener pastures. Are you taking time in Florida? Where are you going, Beth? Or are the rumors true, Beth?
Yes, I am retiring. So this will be my final budget.
God bless you. How amazing. We are going to miss you. You are a valued employee. That is for sure.
Thank you. That's very kind.
Oh, it is actually very factual. I believe that. Is there anything that you would like to share with us, or do you want us to just get to the questions? How do you want to run your last show? Just get to the questions? Okay.
Yes, why not?
Okay. Do anybody have any, Councilman Bruno?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Beth, I'm sad to hear that. We're going to miss you. You do a great job.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm really sad to hear it. I got a question for you on the budget. It appears that, if I'm looking at it correctly, that we created another commissioner position. Is that the case?
Yes. There actually used to be the Commissioner of Human Resources years ago. It's just really been over the last maybe 6-8 years, okay, that they combined the two positions. So I've been doing both the personnel and I've been also doing the human resource.
Okay. Has this position already been filled? The job's already been filled?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Okay. One is that the budget doesn't begin until July 1st.
Okay.
It is an appointed position, and that it would obviously be up to the mayor.
Okay. Okay. In your opinion, that's a position that's needed?
I would say yes. And the reason is that, for instance, right now, today, I'm dealing with 3 relocations. It is incredibly time consuming. That falls under human resources. It does not fall under the purview of personnel. There's a lot of oversight with the various departments in human resources between recreation, health, elderly services, youth services, the energy assistance program. And I say this, it has been a pleasure, okay, and a privilege to have worked, okay, with all of those people over the years. And it has given me a great sense of reward to be able, okay, to have done both positions. But I believe going forward, given the time and what has happened, okay, in society, and the idea of people in need and services towards housing and so on and so forth, I truly believe that the position is recommended. Yes.
Okay, Beth, thank you very much. Well put. And I wish you the very best moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any Councilman Cohen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hi, Beth.
Hi, how are you
Hi.
doing?
Very good. Thank you for everything. You've been quite as a new council person the past year, I have counted on you so many times to ask you so many questions, you know, and you have always been there for me. And I really appreciate that more than you'll ever know.
Thank you. That's very kind again.
Well, I just wanted to, and it bothers me because I found it before in the budget book, but now I can't find it. So I'm going to ask a couple of stupid questions to set my head straight. Okay. Is, you know, to Councilman Bruno's point that the Commissioner of Human Resources, you're recommending to be filled at the $98,000 level. You know, that's what we're asking for. But here's my silly question. I cannot find in my book the personnel director's job. Is that a different title in here? Is that, what page is that?
Yes, it is. It would be on page 37.
Like, you know what? Yeah, so basically, and I believe it's on page, I won't have to, and the reason why I remember this is from an organizational chart standpoint, does the personnel director report to the Commissioner of Human Resources? That always got me confused. Or
no.
Who does, I know it reports to somebody else, but I'm confused.
No, actually, okay, over the last, like I said, about 8 years, the positions have been
combined.
Right. All right. So each one of the positions or the combined position always reported to the mayor. Years ago, when there was 2 separate positions, they still reported to the mayor. They are considered to be department heads, very similar to the director of finance or the director of planning and zoning, or the Public Works Commissioner. They are an entity of itself.
Okay, and the reason, and that brings me to my second question, is because I was looking at, it could be just on Frank's card deck when he first presented the overview of the budget with the mayor, and I see that, I'm going to say, I'm just trying to match these things up, that there was a personnel HR generalist. Additional help in the personnel department, help fill the gaps identified by payroll HR. Is that the data coordinator position that's been added here? Because I'm having trouble locating.
No, they're 2 different departments. The HR generalist will be in the personnel department.
Will be in the personnel department. I just want to make sure there was no, so they're being proposed for the personnel department, because I saw HR generalist. I want to make sure that, that there was no, that position is going to be doing personnel matters, if you will. And that's where the lines were kind of blurred for me.
They will be helping with onboarding, recruiting.
Okay.
They will be assisting in the payroll.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, because I shouldn't be jumping the gun there. It's only because of the title kind of threw me off, and I wanted to make sure that we covered it, and we'll cover it another time. And I appreciate that. You know, yeah. And so I'll speak to, so that particular position is, and pardon me, I will hold questions on that until we talk about personnel, which I guess we're talking about now. So then my question on personnel, I'm gonna make sure I have this correct, is who was doing, I mean, even before we had ADP or, you know, onboarding and stuff like that, when we were doing the payroll ourselves, I'll say, who was doing the payroll in-house, and why can't that same person be doing it now versus hiring somebody? Or I'm assuming, are we hiring somebody new? Or are we transferring somebody in there? I know it's a new position, so I'm thinking if someone's already doing the payroll now or was doing the payroll, why wouldn't they also be doing the payroll or coordinate with ADP? I'm just trying to understand the responsibility.
So there was a payroll person before ADP. That position was eliminated in this budget. Because they knew that ADP was coming on board, they created a payroll / benefits coordinator.
Right.
That had to be trained and had experience in ADP. So the old position in payroll used to be in finance, and that position no longer exists.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, so the person, for whoever was in there, you know, at best they would have had to reapply for it. If it's a different core competency, a different skill level, or an enhanced skill level, if you will. Okay. Yes. Yeah, because I was looking, I'm thinking to myself, well, who did payroll before? Why can't they, you know, it's like, you know, why can't they help there?
The individual, that was in the payroll position before is actually going to be the assistant purchasing agent.
Okay. Yeah,
which is still in finance.
Right. I knew there was a Ouija board going on here. I just had to know who was on first. That's all. And, you know, honestly, besides that, I wanted one last question, if I could, Madam Chair. Okay. On page 88, holiday festivities, we went from $4,000 to $54,000. Is that because of the centennial celebration?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Yes. All right. Had to ask. All right, well, that is all I had, and I thank you, Beth, and I wish you well, and thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Cohen. Chairman Quagliani?
Thank you, Councilwoman Hosky. Hi, Beth.
Hi, how you doing, Chief?
Good. Hey, actually, I think my question's for Frank, though. So, I mean, my first general comment is, you know, we always confuse, you know, human resources, right? And the private sector, human resources is personnel, right? But in the public sector, it's more, you know, community resources. So someday we should probably try to
change the title.
Yeah. I think I've always struggled with that. Frank, out of those positions, the human resource commissioner, the HR generalist, and the data coordinator, which one of those were MARB recommendations? And the ones that are, could you just briefly explain why they feel the need for us to include all of those at this time?
Well, the data coordinator, or I guess the correct title would be, let me find the right page. The personnel office assistant, correct, Beth? That's
no, it's not. Okay. Oh. The position is actually a human resource. Okay. Assistant 1.
Okay. All right.
All right. The position, has always been in the HR budget.
Yep.
So it's misnamed in this budget, and that's what it should be, is a human resource assistant 1.
Okay, so we'll make that
so
change.
Theoretically, that HR or the human resource program aide could have been kept, just with the difference, in the salary. Because basically, that's what it is. It's a human resource assistant, for the department. It's not a data coordinator.
All right, that's what confused me. All right, so we'll change the name to HR assistant 1.
Yeah, we'll change the name, Ron. And the HR generalist is the position that was recommended by the MARB to help shore up the department. And again, the Human Resources Commissioner, since Beth is retiring, I sincerely doubt that anyone else would be willing to do both positions. They don't have Beth's fortitude. So it was prudent to add that to the budget then.
Yeah, we used to call, when we still do, we call Beth the commissioner of everything, because I think she's done just about everything. So, and Frank, not to get into the specifics, but I would imagine, so if we're going to have an opening in the personnel director position, we have an HR commissioner. At some point, we're gonna have to kind of lay this out so there's an appropriate transition, right? We don't want to lose the wealth of knowledge and then have two new people walk in on July the 1st, right?
No, that's absolutely correct.
So will you be looking to fund any of these positions prior to July 1st, I guess? That's my question.
We can't actually, well, we could certainly add an appropriation to fund the position for 2020. We may have monies available in other departments that haven't been used. So we can certainly start an analysis to see what kind of transfer needs to happen if we do want to get somebody assigned there early. Since those are appointed positions that would ultimately fall to the mayor to appoint those people. So I would have to yield to her timing.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys could figure that out, but I'm thinking now we're already, we're halfway through April. So to be able to kind of, find the candidates, vet the candidates, onboard the candidates, I would think that, hopefully Beth isn't leaving until September 1st, and then maybe this won't be an issue, right? So, I just want to make sure we don't have that knowledge leave us before we have the new people in to absorb it, right?
No, I absolutely agree. Yeah,
and you'll have an idea, obviously, by the first Thursday of May, what's in the budget and what's not, and you can plan accordingly from there, I think. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
I was thinking exactly some of what Chairman Quagliani was saying, is that knowledge transfer is vital. Beth knows every corner of that building. So I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but it would be a benefit to anybody, to any candidate, to have that time with her. So if it is the budget, or if it's not having the money and that we have to wait for this new budget season of July 1st, I think I agree with the chairman, what he's saying. It would behoove us to see, is there any money? And, no pressure, Mayor Rossi. I mean, you're going to do what you have to do to get a candidate, but, if it's because there's no money, well, let's look to see. And if that would help you in any way, I mean, I would definitely come before the council and see if we can, transfer funds to get that going now. And, Chairman said September. I mean, I'd like at least October, Beth. I mean, but definitely, I think that's vital. I mean, she's just, I don't know how what we were going to do without her, but I just wanted to take mention because I was thinking the same thing. Crystal, Councilwoman Finelli, I saw that you had your hand up. Did you want to?
Yes, thank you. And congratulations on your upcoming retirement, Beth. I have actually two questions. The first is about trees and shrubs. I know I emailed you about this, I think maybe about a month or two ago. How does that work with that money in that budget? Because I know last year we gave a little extra money and we kind of all agreed. I know it was an error or something, I think, at first, but then everyone agreed if we had the money and we really kind of need more trees and beautification around the town, so we wanted to leave it in there. has that money been used yet? And if so, like, what is the process, or what department does that go through? Because I did meet with the tree commission a couple months ago, and they seem to be operating completely separate, which I don't know if this is just my ignorance of the whole process and how that works. But I was surprised because I knew we had put aside that extra money, that none of that went through them. And I don't know, is that just not the proper channel that money would funnel through? And has that been used yet? Because I did notice that for this year, you didn't request any money on that line item.
There is the lion's share of that money still exists. I believe, okay, that Public Works used a portion of it to buy 2 Christmas trees, live Christmas trees, okay, and have been planted. And so I've always said that between the Public Works Department, certainly okay, and the Tree Commission, and the mayor's office, that money, okay, should be used for enhancing, whether it's trees on our parks and playgrounds or on streets. But the money is there. It is not something that I dictate on where it is, okay, that it should be spent. It should be a collaborative event by a multitude of departments, but certainly headed up by the Public Works Department and Tom McCarthy.
Okay. Because I just want to make sure if we don't use that money from this year, that $5,000, that will just go away. And I would like to see. No,
I would hope, okay, that it would be used, okay. Yeah. There are certain periods of time that trees should be planted, okay. When the budget came out in July, that is not the time to plant a tree, all right. In order to do something like that, you would have to put what is called gator bags onto the trees, all right? And they are a plastic bag that tie onto the trees. You fill it up with water and it dissipates over time and tries to water the trees. The problem is that July, August is not the time, okay, to be planting trees whatsoever. COVID occupied a great many of everybody's time this year. But the springtime is really a perfect time to go out and make these purchases, okay, and plant the trees. So I can certainly talk to Tom about it. I think, okay, that the money should be encumbered and the trees, okay, should be planted.
Okay. Thank you. I agree. And then one other question. I noticed there's kind of a large discrepancy between, and the mayor might want to answer this, the requested money for holidays and festivities. I think what the department requested was $4,000, and then the mayor's recommendation was $54,000. Can you just speak to why there's such a large...
It's because of our centennial.
Okay.
All right. This is an event that really kicks off on June 24th. Mm-hmm. That is the anniversary of our 100th year of being incorporated. We have a multitude of activities that we are planning for the city. And I can't say whether all 50,000 will be spent, but we certainly, okay, need some money, okay, to put on activities. I think it's very difficult, again, because of COVID, to ask businesses to contribute when they basically kept their head above water during COVID, with restaurants being shut down, with only takeout being done, limited number of people being able to sit in a restaurant, and even other kinds of businesses. So I think the $50,000 is going to go for a number of events between now and the end of the year, okay, which would end in December.
Okay, and I mean, and I understand that. And thanks for your response. in the budget booklets that we were given, what your department requested was only 4,000 for 2022, and the mayor's request was 54. So did your
well,
request come out
you remember, okay, that the budget, okay, my budget, okay, gets put in February.
Okay,
all right, all right. So
you're in agreement then with the 54.
We had just begun sitting down and starting, okay, the organization for the centennial. We did that. The first month was actually December. So we were just basically getting our feet wet. And then the mayor, the more that we talked about the centennial and so on and so forth, she felt as that it was prudent to put more money into that account in order to have the event, host the event, and realize that a great many of our local businesses that have contributed in the past to activities and done fundraisers and so on and so forth just may not have the money this year.
Okay, thank you.
So Beth, can you speak a little bit to the beach sticker situation?
Sure.
I'm just kind of curious, you know, so part of me thinks this, right? I want to talk about the beach stickers because this is, I think, the first time we're ordering them in some time, but are we still mailing them out with the tax bills? And why is that the process? Like, why can't we wait until the tax bill gets paid and then mail them? Like, can we get our money first?
One of the reasons, okay, is that it would be a double mailing. All right. And a separate mailing is probably, okay, $7,000 or $8,000. So that's why they're sent out during the tax bills. The reason that the money has been appropriated or requested in this year's budget is because the present beach sticker expires on June 30th, 2022. Now, in order to have those beach stickers ready for July 1st, they have to be printed up during this next coming fiscal year. Even though, okay, that they're not good, okay, until July of 2022. But if we don't print them during the month of, let's say, April and May, so that they're ready to go in the tax bills, then we won't have them ready, okay, for July.
And how long are those stickers going to be good for? Are they have a...
Well, we haven't done it yet. We could make them up to 3 years if we wanted to. All right. The present one is for 2 years.
Right.
That will be a decision that we will make going forward. We've had them, okay, for 1 year. We've had them for 2 years. The discussion has taken place for 3 or more years.
You've been doing this job a while. What's your recommendation? What do you like? What? Because I know that there's been some bad decisions in the past, right? Like, don't we have like a stack of them somewhere for years? There was just like thousands of them. I don't know. That's what I've heard, that we had these in.
It used to be, all right, that we had beach stickers that did not have the license plate on them.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is that we would order 50,000 beach stickers and they became a political handout. Every man, woman, and child, okay, in West Haven had a beach sticker, all right, because they became one of those things that people gave out willingly, all right. When we went and put the license plate numbers on it, they could not transfer them. They just couldn't give them out, all right. There was a checks and balance with it. It made an awful lot of sense to continue to putting the license plates on them. If somebody's now windshield breaks or they get a new car, if it's a replacement sticker, they have to come in and they come into our office, not the tax office, and they get a replacement sticker and it costs them $10. When we go into the program and look up to make sure that their taxes have been paid, that's the only way that we'll issue a beach sticker. We have to record who the person is. We have to do the deposit, and that's recorded into that program or that software. So that there's also a checks and balance for our office. For every replacement sticker that we give, there is a $10 fee, and there is also a trail of the deposit. So I think, okay, that you should stick with the license plates. I know that the police department has also looked at the barcodes, because if they use a scanner, it's easy to find out whether or not the car itself owes any kind of parking tickets, and so on and so on and so forth. 2 years is a minimum that I would do it. I certainly might consider 3, but again, a lot of discussion, okay, should take place on that.
No, I really appreciate that. I think the program and having the license plate, I mean, whoever came up with that, I think it's amazing. I absolutely loved it. I didn't realize it when it first happened, and I put the wrong one on my windshield because I wasn't paying attention. And then I tried to park in the parking, and there's like, it didn't match. And I was like, what? So I guess I just didn't read what I was reading. So I thought that was really great. And I had another question, and now I'm trying to figure out what it was.
And we're going to be doing non-resident beach stickers this year. We didn't do them last year, all right, because of COVID. So I just ordered them today. We actually have over 20 people on the list that are interested and have already put their names in and would like a non-resident beach sticker. They have to pay, obviously, a higher price for it. We normally would have them out in January for them to buy. Unfortunately, it'll probably be the end of April that we'll be able, okay, to call them up, tell them, okay, to send in their checks, and then send out their beach sticker. But we are doing non-resident beach stickers this year again.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other questions for Beth? Councilman Cohen?
Actually, this is a question for Frank, if he's still on the line. Oh, Frank, there you are. Hey, Frank, I had a good request. It goes back to Chairman Quagliani's remarks, my earlier remarks. Would it be at all possible for you to send us a revised page 87, a revised page 37, with the right titles or the correct titles of the positions, and also a revision of slide 9 in your card deck? Because, you know, to Chairman Quagliani's point, you know, the position names are a little bit fuzzy, and we just want to make sure that we know what goes where, especially because Beth has taken 2 positions for so long. I just want to make sure that we're all in alignment in terms of these. Would that be possible if you just send us up those 3 pages revised?
Sure, no problem.
I really would appreciate that. It just makes it clearer to me. In terms of the beach stickers, Beth, I'm all on board with that, but it's just it's probably just me, and it's probably just my car and my neighbor's car. But, you know, I love the beach stickers. I love the license plate on them for everything that you just said. But for some reason this year, I'm seeing that that the stickers, I don't know, it's the weather or whatever, if the sticker is sticking onto the license plate number, but the sticker itself is peeling back, that you have to keep plopping it back to your window like it lost like its adhesion. And it's not just my car. I was actually looking, because I walk my dog and so forth, I'm noticing in other cars too. So that's just a heads up that I love the whole procedure. I love the protocol, but whatever adhesive material that they used on this stack of beach stickers, maybe because, did we prolong it an extra year this year? I don't even know. Did we go from 2 years to, I have no idea, but I guess that the longevity of the beach sticker wasn't as long as the earlier beach stickers. And so you might end up having a problem at the beach when people's beach stickers are, again, maybe it's just me, but I just wanted to give you a heads up, you know.
Sure.
Maybe you want to ask your team.
When we get ready to order them, we'll talk to the company.
Yeah, I just thought you want to know, that's all. Otherwise, I love my sticker.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Madam Chair, I am done.
Councilman Bruno?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Beth, I wasn't going to go there tonight. Just a quick question for your local business owners that have repair plates, dealer plates, that live in the city of West Haven. I've had many questions pertaining to what's going to be the solution if they live in the city to get a beach sticker, if they're paying taxes in the city, but they're on a repair plate or a dealer plate per se.
That's a good question. And we're going to have to address that with Corporation Counsel, because there is in the code book, it speaks to who it is that is eligible, okay, for a beach sticker. And it's a non-commercial vehicle. So if we are looking to change that because a person has a business in town and they pay taxes on those vehicles in town, I'm not suggesting, okay, that they shouldn't have a beach sticker, but I think the proper thing to do would be also to change the code in the book, okay, the code compliance book that speaks to that, and do an amendment to it.
Yeah, because I've also got questions about people that have company cars that are paying taxes, but it's a company car. And they're asking how would they, obtain a beach sticker if they're already paying taxes. And to me, I was, you and I have hit on this last year with this problem. And I'm just wondering, moving forward, there's a lot of good local business people in town that are wondering, okay, how do they get a beach sticker?
Right. I guess the question then becomes, all right, is that, and again, there's more discussion to this, but let's say that I own a trucking company and I have 20 vehicles and I pay taxes on them and they're all registered in West Haven. And so therefore I'm entitled to 20 beach stickers. Am I going to put them on my company vehicles, or am I going to, which I can't, give them to my company employees because they all require the license plate number on them? So they would have to go on the company trucks. So it's just a discussion, okay, that has to be had. I know that Chairman Quagliani was on the original, he actually chaired the original parking commission concerning this. No matter which way we went, there was always going to be an issue. We have people, okay, who, excuse me, who works or live 6 months a year, okay, in New York and have bought property in West Haven. And they spend their summer up here. But yet their cars are registered in New York. When they come to us, we tell them, okay, that they have to buy a non-resident beach sticker, and they're not pleased about that either because they're paying taxes on the home that they purchased in West Haven. So I would be more than happy, okay, to sit with a committee along with Mark Payne and whoever else we seem to or deemed appropriate with a member or two members from the city council to see whether or not we could resolve the issue. You're on mute.
Are you done, Councilman Bruno? Did you have a follow-up? Okay. Councilwoman O'Connor, did you have your hand up?
I did, but Beth, I just wanted to thank you for your many years of service. Even though I'm only 29, I can't remember a time where you haven't been working for West Haven. My question is more of a personal one than a budget one. We were having a discussion about this the other day. Were you the first female public works director in all of Connecticut?
I believe I was the second. I believe, okay, I was the second. I don't know the timing. I do know that there was another female.
Well, in my heart, you'll always be the first.
Thank you.
We're running a bit over with Beth, so if anyone, Councilman Donovan, if you have a question, and then we're gonna wrap up.
Yep, more of a quick comment.
Thank you for everything.
Okay, mine's more of a comment. Beth, we go back way back when I was the president of the league. This city is going to lose not only a good worker, not just what you do during your time. It's even when you're not working, you're always working. The worst part that the city is going to lose is your knowledge. The knowledge that you have is amazing. The stuff that you remember from 30 years ago, or even long, it just amazes me that you know this and everything. So I thank you personally for all the service that you've done, the person that you are, and the person that you brought to other people. And I wish you well. Retirement is fabulous. It's second year of it, and enjoy it. But that's all I had.
Thank you very much. Again, very kind of you.
Okay, well, not to get all soft on you, but we're gonna wrap up your final hurrah with the budget season with the city council. And I don't think I could say it any better than Councilman Donovan, but you are a definite a Westie treasure, and we are going to miss you. And if you're the people who follow you, if they are just 50% of what you bring to the table, then we're in good hands. You are definitely a gem, and we thank you for all your years of service. And I can't wait for the cake to celebrate you. I hope it's on the green and we can all participate and to celebrate.
Believe me, I thank you, and I thank each and every one of you. And when my time is over, just please know that it's been an honor and a privilege to have worked for this community. So thank you.
Thank you. With that being said, we are in recess until tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night, all.
Good night.